All right, now we're looking at how we can calculate the variance of grouped grouped set of data. All right, let me just get our table here. All right, this is the original question here. Okay, it's the original question. So let me just get a copy of it. We found the mean, the median, and the mode. Now we're looking for the variance. All right. So let me just bring it here. Yes. All right, so the variance just measures how far the numbers are spread in a data set from their average, all right? How far numbers are spread in a data set from their average, all right? Basically, this just helps us determine the size of their data spread, all right? So the first thing that we're going to do is going to need to expand our table and add more columns, okay? So this is our frequency. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, we have to find our midpoints, which are represented by x, and the midpoints. So to get the midpoint, basically you just add 1 plus 10, that is 11. 11 divided by 2, that's 5.5. 20 plus 21, that's 31. 31 divided by 2, okay, you just get the calculator to confirm with me. Yes, that's 31 divided by 2, that's 15.5. All right. Next is 30 plus 21 divided by 2. Okay, 25.5. All right. Next one, 31 plus 40. That's 71 divided by 2. 35. Right. And finally, we've got 41 plus 50. That's 91 divided by 2. We get 45.5. All right, so we've determined our midpoints. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to square our midpoints. All right, we need to square them. All right, so I'm going to put in here x squared. All right, so again, we need our calculator for this. 5.5 squared, that's 30.25. Yeah, 15.5 squared, that's 240.25, and 25.5 squared, that's 650.25. Okay, then 35.5 square root, that's 1260.25. Okay, and then 45.5, we square it. It's going to be 2070.25. Okay. After we do that, we now going to multiply our frequency times our midpoint. Okay, that's f times x, fx here. So basically our frequency, so say 8 times 5.5, we get 44, right? 4 times 15.5, we get 62. Okay, we're multiplying our frequencies, all right, with our midpoints, all right, our frequency with the midpoints, okay. So 12 times 25.5, 306, right? 9 times 35.5, 319.5, right? And then finally 7 times 45.5, 318.5. All right. Now we have to multiply our frequency with x squared. All right. So we say f x squared, right? Our frequency multiplied by x squared. So we're dealing with this column, all right? And we're dealing with this column. Okay. Oops. All right. What am I doing now? Right. So let's do this. All right. So 8 times 30.25. 8 times 30.25, you get 242. 4 times 240.25, you're going to get 961. 12 times 650.25, you get 7,803. All right, 9 times 1,260.25, 1,260.25 multiplied by 9, we get 11,000. Get 11,342.5. All right, and then finally, I'm going to say 7 times 2,070.25. 14,491.75. All right, so now we have done that. Okay, now we've got everything in our tables. All right, we're going to have to now, first, we have to find the total of our frequency. Okay, what's the total of our frequency? That, if we remember from our previous calculations, it is 40. All right. And then we have to also, as you can see here in the formula for the variance, okay, you can see that we have to add up add up this column here, all right, where we're multiplying f times x squared, all right. We find the total, that's what we're going to place here. And then after we find that total, we're going to have to square it. Oh, we're going to have to square the total of f times x, all right. So we're going to need 3 totals here first, all right. The first total is our frequency column, all right, because that represents n, right? So n equals 40, okay. We just put in equals 40. That's our total frequency. The next total that we need is the summation of f times x. As you can see here, the summation of f times x. So we're going to sum up all the total here, right? So we say 44 plus 62 plus 306 plus 319.5, right, plus 318.5, we get 1050. All right, so we have 1050 here. Okay, this number is the one which we're going to have to square here. All right, after I've added the product of f and x, we square it. Right, then, all right, we also now need the total sum of this column f times x squared here. All right, so this is we'll find the total of this column. So we're going to say 242 plus 961 plus 7,803 plus 11,342.5 plus 14,491.75, and we get 34,840.25. All right, so these are the totals we needed. So we can go in our formula now, okay, to get our variance. Okay, so we're going to say s squared equals, let me insert a fraction. So we have 1 over, right, n is 40, so we say it's 40 minus 1. N represents our total frequency. Okay, then we open brackets. Open, right, so we're going to say the summation of f times the summation of f times x squared, so we say 34,840.25, right, minus, right, minus, okay, put our, the square root, right, of the summation of f times x, which is, we got 1050 there. So 1050 squared. Let's see if I'll be allowed to put it. Right, divided by 40. Divided by 40. Close brackets. All right, we'll go to the next line. All right, so we have, let's do this in parts. All right, let's 1050 squared gives us 1,102,500. All right, divided by 40, we're going to get 27,562.5. Okay, so in our numerator here, okay, what we're going to have is 4,840.25 minus, all right, we've already done this calculation here, all right, we got 27,562.5, right? So that is how our operation is looking like. Okay. All right, so 34,840.25, 34,840.25 minus 27,562.5, we get 7,277.75. 7,277.75, right? Divided by 39, because 40 minus 1 is 39. It's 7,277.75 divided by 39, we get 186. 186.60. All right. So that is our variance. Okay. As I said, variance, this is how far numbers are spread in the data set from their average, all right, which is usually the central point, the mean. The, the measure of this, the mean is part of the measures of central tendency, right? We're trying to look for a center point. The central point is actually the median. Yeah. So now, after you find your average, you want to find out how far the data points are apart from that average, right? And finally, we have to find our variance, all right? I mean, the standard deviation, which is just the square root of the variance, all right? Not complicated at all, all right? So find the square root of 186.6. All right. So let's see, what is the square root of 186.6? All right, that's 13.66. 13.66. Right. So that's how you find the variance and the standard deviation. Okay. Both of these are measures of dispersion.